Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the internet is completely gone. No social media, no Google, no online banking, no streaming services, nothing. The world as we know it would be thrown into total chaos. In this video, we will explore exactly what would happen if the internet disappeared overnight, how businesses, governments, and everyday people would be affected, and whether humanity could ever recover from such a catastrophic event. Stick around until the end to find out just how dependent we truly are on the internet and whether we could ever survive without it. Immediate chaos. The first few hours would be pure confusion. Phones would still work for calling, but text messages and app-based communications like WhatsApp, Messenger, and iMessage would be completely useless. Social media would become a ghost town. People would rush to their devices, frantically trying to refresh their screens, thinking their Wi-Fi is just acting up. Businesses relying on cloud-based systems would suddenly grind to a halt. Online banking, credit card transactions, and ATMs would stop working, leaving people stranded without access to their money. Airports would face flight delays as booking systems crash, while hospitals relying on internet-connected equipment and digital records would scramble for alternatives. Governments would attempt to communicate via television and radio, but panic would spread like wildfire as people realize that the digital world they rely on has vanished. Economic collapse. Within days, the global economy would start to unravel. Stock markets, which rely on internet connectivity, would cease to function. Billion-dollar trades that happen in milliseconds would be impossible. Businesses that rely on e-commerce, Amazon, eBay, Shopify, would become obsolete overnight, leading to mass layoffs. Banks, unable to process digital transactions, would be forced to revert to old paper-based accounting systems, leading to chaos in the financial sector. Supply chains would break down, as logistics networks rely on the internet to track shipments, optimize routes, and process orders. Supermarkets would run out of stock as suppliers struggle to manage deliveries without digital coordination. Oil, gas, and energy companies would face significant disruption, leading to power shortages in cities around the world. The longer the internet remains gone, the worse the economic devastation would become. Social breakdown. Social structures would begin to crumble as people struggle to adapt to a life without instant information. Misinformation and fear would spread rapidly since people would no longer have access to fact-checking resources. Without social media, global communication would revert to traditional forms like radio, newspapers, and word of mouth, making it much slower and less reliable. News organizations would face difficulty in gathering and distributing information, leading to widespread confusion. The absence of online entertainment would push people toward boredom and frustration, resulting in increased crime rates, social unrest, and protests. Education would suffer immensely, as schools and universities that rely on online learning platforms and digital resources would be forced to return to old-fashioned textbooks and in-person teaching. People would experience extreme withdrawal symptoms as their digital lifestyles come to a screeching halt. Technological regression. The world would be thrown back into a pre-internet era, but worse. Unlike in the past, modern society is structured entirely around the internet, and losing it would cause widespread dysfunction. Smart homes, IoT devices, and cloud-based services would become useless. Companies that develop software, video games, streaming platforms, and other internet-dependent technologies would collapse. Research and development in medicine, engineering, and artificial intelligence would slow down drastically as scientists lose access to global collaboration networks. Even basic communication tools like emails and cloud storage would be gone, forcing businesses to revert to physical documentation and fax machines. The progress we've made over decades in technological innovation would be undone in a matter of days. Survival and adaptation. Over time, people would begin to adapt, but the transition would be brutal. Governments and companies would attempt to rebuild infrastructure using old-school communication methods like radio signals and private networks. The postal service would become a primary mode of communication again, with letters taking days or weeks to deliver messages that once took seconds. Businesses would have to find offline alternatives for transactions, such as checks and cash-based payments. Television and newspapers would make a resurgence as the primary sources of news. Meanwhile, hackers and black market networks might attempt to create underground internet services, but they would be unreliable at best. The younger generation, raised entirely in the digital age, would struggle the most, while older generations who lived before the internet might have an easier time adjusting. Survival skills, community engagement, and local trade would become essential for daily life. Conclusion: the disappearance of the internet would cause a catastrophe unlike anything humanity has ever seen. While people could adapt over time, society would never be the same. The convenience, efficiency, and global connectivity that the internet provides have become so deeply embedded in our lives that losing it would send the world into an unprecedented collapse. Could humanity rebuild the internet from scratch? Possibly, but it would take years, if not decades, to restore even a fraction of what we once had. The lesson here is clear. The internet is no longer a luxury. It is the backbone of modern civilization. If you found this video interesting, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Share this video with your friends and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.